Hello everybody, welcome back to The Therapist at Large. Today is story time. This is one of my new segments for the channel, and I just want to invite you to join me on a little bit of a journey. This is still an experiment, and so I have been working on some formats, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. So I'm starting with our warm fire. It's a digital fire, but you can almost feel the heat off of it. So welcome. So everyone, this is my very special Afghan. This Afghan was crocheted for me by my grandmother Lois. And Lois made every single one of her family members one of these for Christmas. And so she's long passed, but it holds a lot of special memories for me. So story time originates from when I was in grade school. We had a volunteer would come to our school, and she would have all of us sit around in a circle on the ground, and she would read us a book. We were mesmerized. We were captured from the beginning. And I thought, what am I doing for this channel? Where do I want this to go? What formats do I want to have, and how do I want to communicate? So I said, you know what? I think story time might be it. Again, this is all a journey of real-time creativity and testing and wondering in real time. So I certainly appreciate all of your grace and joy along this, and I'm looking for feedback. I have been surveying some friends and getting some great book ideas. I think I'm going to do some storybooks. I'm going to do some short stories, some poetry, some picture books, maybe a serial where I go on from chapter to chapter, and but we're going to have a great time. I appreciate all of you out there. I want you to feel like my guest. We're going to have several guests with us each time we have story time, and I'm going to introduce them. This is Mr. Al, Ceramic Al. We've had for quite a while. He brings us a lot of joy. He sits on our large dresser in our bedroom. This is the perfect little queen. This is the Fisher-Price queen, and she even has her throne. She's plastic and pink, which I find funny. We're along the pink journey. If you've all been watching the videos, we've got a pink candle, and this is little Buddha head. So each week when we do story time, we're going to have some guests, and you're going to get to meet some of the fun personalities we have in our life. We collect a lot of very small kind of tchotchkes. We live in a small house, and so we keep our collectibles to a very doable micro size. So I'm excited to have you meet them along the way. So let's get started. I've ordered some books on eBay. I put some bids in, and our first book, which I might be the winning bidder on, is a very fun children's book series called Amelia Bedelia. And the one that resonated me was Amelia Bedelia Goes Camping. I'm the highest bidder on eBay for it right now, and I am hopeful that I am the winner for the book. So we'll see what happens. So I've been reading. This is going to be a very odd choice for the first book I'm reading on Storytime. It's because I'm in the middle of it, frankly, and I'm reading it, and I want you to know a little bit about me. I spend some leisure time reading some graphic comics, and this one is the Aliens and Prometheus and Predator and AVP universe, and I'm about halfway through it. I bought it at Powell's, and it's quite interesting. They get to do a lot more in these books than they could have ever done on the movies. But since this is a very beginning of a creative journey, I'm making it up as I go along. And I am finding that making it up as I go along is both stressful and quite liberating. So join me on this first journey. This is a test video. This is going to go in a playlist series on Therapist at Large. The Therapist at Large Forgotten Files. I'm doing format testing right now. So again, this is a journey in real time. And so this is really, this is going to be the forgotten images, or the beginning files, or the beginning videos that maybe people will chuckle at. I'm going to put them into a playlist category, and we can go back through them at a later time. So let me pull the light over here a little bit. Fire and Stone, Chapter 1, Prometheus. This story takes place approximately 42 years after the events in motion picture Aliens. So this Fire and Stone, let me start by saying this is a Dark Horse graphic comic. Dark Horse, I follow Dark Horse with an app on my phone as well. I purchase various comics. It's a really great company. I'm not terribly happy with the max it allows to enlarge on the phone. It's much better on the iPad. But let me read you the back dust cover. A universe of terror drawn to one world. The moon of LV-223, resting place of the doomed Prometheus expedition. Possible source of all organic life, and the nightmarish wellspring of ultimate destruction. Now a new generation of explorers hopes to uncover the mysteries of the strange and dangerous world. But what they find may lead to humanity's undoing. This volume collects the entirety of the Dark Horse epic Fire and Stone crossover saga, featuring contributions by some of comics' most extraordinary talents, including Paul Tobin, Chris Robertson, Christopher Sebela, Joshua Williamson, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Juan Ferreira, Patrick Reynolds, Ariel Olivetti, Christopher Mooneyham, and Augustin Alessio. So again, I bought this at Powell's. I got it new. It was $24.99. I will put the link for this in my description box below. So I'm not sure what format I should do, whether I should just read some pages, I should do some voices, I should show you the pictures. You know, I'm curious to see what you want. Again, I invited you all along this journey to help be creative partners in it. And I hope you give me feedback and what you want to see. I hope you give me some book ideas. Again, I don't know. I don't know if the camera angle's right. Do you like the candle? Are you comfortable having onlookers looking at you? Got the owl and plastic queen and little Buddha head. I think what I'll do is I'll just read a couple pages and I'll try to pop up and show you some pictures and see if you can see them. And let me get there. Where do I want to start? I don't want to take up too much of your time. This is kind of a beginning video. So I'm not wanting these to be, I think at the max, more than 15 or 20 minutes. I think people lose interest. I'll probably do a fair amount of books that have some pictures. They're short, you know, maybe 8 to 10 minutes. Again, I might pull the camera much closer so we can communicate a little more closely. So anyway, we're going to start with Prometheus, Chapter 1. April 4th, 2090, 10:27 a.m. Earth Central Time, LV 223, one of 3 known moons of the Calhamos planetoid in the Zeta II Reticular System. Nitrogen, 709, 940 ppmx. Oxygen, 211, 641 ppmx. Carbon dioxide, 33,012 ppmv. Argon, 12,620 ppmv. This is ppmv, by the way. Northwestern primary, 16.79 kilometers. Mean gusts reaching 182.48 kilometers per hour. So can you see the ships for me? Let's put this over here. There's some light. They're really fun. They have bars across the way. Have you all seen Prometheus? Have you seen Aliens? You know, maybe I'll just tell a story of my own. This book probably is not inappropriate for story time. I snuck into Aliens when I was, I don't know, 10 years old maybe? 10, 11 years old. Of course, we bought a ticket for another movie and we all wanted to see Aliens. We were in Medford, Oregon, and I can't even remember the theater. I remember what it looked like. I think it was a fourplex theater, but I remember looking at the poster of, might even have been Alien. I'll have to check out the dates and speak on it at another video. But absolutely terrifying. It's my absolute favorite science fiction universe. Sigourney Weaver is a badass, and I could watch her as a superhero all day long. I have watched some of the spin-offs with Predator, and of course I've read some paperback books and the graphic comics and such. I don't know what's about it that I love it so much. It's, I think, so well done for its time. Ridley Scott, clearly an amazing director. And so I think I just love how it feels like it could actually happen. If we were to leave this planet and come across a life form, you know, it seems like a lot of the movies have always been so fantastical that, you know, they would be humanoid or close to human form, certainly bipedal with a couple legs, and trying to communicate with us. And really, they could be wild animals that have no ego and conscience, and simply try to eat us. I'm noticing that this blanket, I don't know if you can see it on the, see, there's a couple different patterns in it. My grandmother, you can see the pattern on the bottom is a little different. Right here, you can see this change in the striations of the yarn. My grandmother told me a story that she was under a lot of stress. Her sister, Nancy, was a very large source of stress in her life, and there was a fair amount of conflict and drama over the years. And my grandmother told me that when she was crocheting this, Nancy had called her and was kind of gaslighting her, as she had done, and I had witnessed several times in my life. Gaslighting her with a bunch of just screaming and yelling and accusations. And my grandmother realized that she had gotten kind of off sequence in the crocheting process because she was so distracted and stressed out about it. And so I've always looked at this as not only it was made with love, but there's a little stripe of emotion in this, which was herself, and she was still probably trying to distract herself a little bit and still produce something. She produced one of these for all of her grandchildren and her children, I think, her children. And we got them over the years as Christmas gifts and wrapped up in Christmas paper. And, you know, I've lost a lot of belongings in my life over the years and moving around and going to different schools and living with parents that moved us all over creation. And so I've held on to a few cherished objects, and this is one of them, and it brings me a great deal of comfort. So, well, for this episode, you know, story time is a little bit of a fusion, and it's probably what it's going to continue to be. I'm going to get some books and share them with you, and I do hope that you give me some suggestions. I think I'll work on some of the camera angles and see what we can do here, but I think I'll always have my 3 guests plus you, and I'll light a candle in remembrance of this amazing volunteer that used to come to our school and read stories for us. And I think I just remember staring at the flame on the candle, and I was absolutely mesmerized. So anyway, thank you for joining me at the first Storytime video. Again, this is a test, and I am both grateful and, you know, to be honest, a little anxious to put myself out here on video like this, and but I am embracing with a lot of gratitude and love and this creative process and watching it unfold in real time with my audience out there. So, Therapist at Large signing off, and I'm so grateful that you joined me on my very first beta tested Storytime series. And happy Friday night, and it is Easter weekend, and I wish you the best weekend, and I'll talk to you all later. Take care. Bye.